What's going on, y'all? What's up? We got night one of the WWE draft, which it takes place on Smackdown. Um, they informed us that they switched it up a little bit. The draft roster don't take effect like we thought it would, which would be like next Friday. After Monday, the next Friday should be like the first night of the new roster draft for the new roster. But apparently, it doesn't take place. It won't take place until 3 weeks later. The night after Crown Jewel, which is on a Friday, for that SmackDown, which is October 22nd, which is weird. But anywho, we go to the first draft of the night. The first round of the draft. You would get Roman Reigns, obviously staying on SmackDown. Big E, obviously moving to Raw. Though they treating it like he was still a even though he won the WWE Championship, he was still the SmackDown roster. Because when they talked about it, they said that this is a disappointment loss for SmackDown. So technically, he was a SmackDown superstar that was Raw's champion. Now he's officially a Raw superstar. He would be the first person to switch brands. The second person would be the next person in this draft, which is Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair would get drafted to SmackDown, and Bianca Belair, who was the last pick of this first round, would move to Raw. Pretty much everybody in this draft, pretty much this first round draft, was obvious where they was going, but hey. Roman Reigns would do a promo basically saying, as the back of the shirt says, Baltimore, we the ones. He's like, so Baltimore, acknowledge me. And then, to the surprise, they actually acknowledged him. They tried chanting. First they booed, but then the boos turned into Roman Roman, and he was like, "Yeah, that's what I want to hear." And then Paul Heyman would crush everybody's acknowledgement by saying that wasn't loud enough for the tribal chief. He was like, he said that Baltimore was not loud enough for the tribal chief Roman Reigns. They would talk about what happened at Extreme Rules with no acknowledgement from Paul Heyman or Roman Reigns. Pat McAfee actually interfered, saying, "Oh, yeah, that was the guys above who helped Roman Reigns." So we're really going with God here. Okay. Yeah, so they just basically said how the Demon Finn Balor is no longer undefeated. As we all know, the Demon Finn Balor has a different win streak than actual Finn Balor. While Finn Balor himself has been defeated on the main roster, Demon Finn Balor hasn't. And now Demon Finn Balor has been defeated, and they gloat about that and saying that, just like with Demon, because I think he called Roman Reigns like the Demon Exorcist. And then he referred to Roman Reigns as Sark surrounding the island of relevancy. He said that Brock Lesnar would suffer the same fate at Crown Jewel. Brock Lesnar would come out to get in the face of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns would then fight to where Roman Reigns would get the upper hand for a minute, and then he would get taken to Suplex City. Roman would get taken to Suplex City with them. The Usos, they would come out and try to save Roman. I think they was beating up on Brock for a minute, but then Brock would take them to Suplex City. Then he would basically taunt Roman to try to come back to the ring. Roman he was like, "You want me to get back in the ring?" And he got up on the apron like he was getting back and then he stopped, and then he gets back down and said, no, my turns. But then he was like, "Oh, you're not going to get in the ring?" So he starts he German suplex Jimmy, and then he gets ready to go grab Jay, and he's like, "Don't you do it, don't you touch him." But then he German suplex Jay taking both the Usos to Suplex City. And Brock Lesnar would just stand tall in the ring while Roman and Paul Heyman just goes into the back with Paul Heyman getting the dirty looks from Roman. We will get the first match of the night, which is Kevin Owens versus Bear Corbin with Riddick Moss. I didn't know who the guy was last week, but now I know his name is Riddick Moss. But here they're calling him, they repackage him as Madcap Moss. No, we're calling him Riddick Moss. Just like I call Bear Corbin instead of Happy Corbin. I still prefer, though I'm glad I'm liking the direction they going with him. I would prefer him to keep Baron Corbin in his old thing. His new theme is just stupid. But it was otherwise it was a good match. I enjoyed the match. It was really good. I mean, it was a good, for the first time in a long time, it was a good showing for Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin would be your winner after hitting two, thanks to distractions from Riddick Moss and hitting two in the days. We will get the second round of the draft, which is Drew McIntyre moving to Smackdown. I'll talk about that in a minute. RK Bro stays on Raw. The New Day, oh God, the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods moves to SmackDown, and Edge gets drafted to Raw. So, from the leaks and rumors, we knew Drew McIntyre was going to get Drew was going to get moved to SmackDown. That was obvious. I didn't see Kofi and Xavier moving to SmackDown, given how fans was critical of them being split up anyway, and the fact that there was so much potential for the bloodline or the bloodline feud with the Usos and Roman, or the Hurt Business, and now you really can't get that. But it's okay, whatever. And we already knew Edge was going to go to Raw thanks to the leaks as well, because even though I didn't see the leaks, I heard about them. The leaks basically was saying what Drew was going to SmackDown or Edge was going to Raw. That was that was the only two things I heard about it, was them two names being moved. And it turns out that those two leaks / rumors turned out to be true. Edge promo was next, and Edge basically starts by saying, he thanking the Baltimore crowd for their reaction. He then starts talking about how he's the only person on either brand of the active roster or any of both SmackDown and Raw that's actually been on the first episode of SmackDown, which makes SmackDown feel like his home. And they start booing, but he was like, no, it's okay. I'm glad, because it's a new roster, new faces, new challenges. But this brings me back to the current situation of Seth Rollins, and that he was saying that how Seth Rollins stomped him and 3 weeks ago at the Madison Square Garden, and that it kind of stuck with him because he got stretchered out of the most famous arena that they ever had a venue in, which is the Madison Square Garden Arena, which was kind of got to Edge a little bit. So he said, but he said the thing is he's not 100%, and Seth Rollins noted if he accepts the challenge, then Seth Rollins would have the distinct advantage because he would be not 100%, and Seth Rollins would basically take advantage of that. But he said he is on his way to 100%. To being 100%, and that he will, he knows the type of person, Seth Rollins knows the type of person he is, and he basically came out to accept the challenge. What I was going to say, then he basically tells Seth Rollins, but for the other stuff you want me to say about you being better than me in every way, and that you're not Edge light, and you want me to retire and all that type of stuff, well, come out here and extract those words from my face. And Seth Rollins, we'll hit the usual, Edge, my man, we got some problems here. See, Edge, we got some problems. We're not you're not really saying the things I want to hear. You're not saying nothing about you retiring. You're not saying how I'm better than you in every way, and that I'm not edge light, and you're not really answering my challenge. See, here's the thing, Edge. I tend to think that anything and everything that you say that is full of crap. Yet you're a liar, and basically you are a liar. So whenever you say something, I don't tend to believe it. And the thing is, whoops, you are on Raw. So on SmackDown. So he was like, and Seth Rollins continues to say, the thing is, now that we have a problem here. See, I'm not on SmackDown. I'm actually, because I'm not a liar, I'm at your house. And now you understand why Edge is looking horribly. Because he realized when Edge, as soon as Seth Rollins came on the Titantron, he realized something about that background that looked like his house. And it turned out it really was his house. So then he goes to bang on the door. Bev, let me in, Bev. And then he jiggles the handle and the door just comes right open. And he's like, come on, Beth. I know that that you and Edge live in the middle of nowhere, but come on. The least you could do is lock your door. So he basically goes in, he dances around, takes off his coat, throw it on the counter. He said he goes in there to taste some OJ, gets an apple, like an apple a day. And he he kicks his feet up on the table, and he's like, this is actually he said, this is actually a nice house. Then he like, are those the girls? That he sees the kids' drawings, and he's like, man, I tell you, I know they're fine, but whew. He started basically insulting their artwork. He goes and closes the door to see that where their book bags and hang up. He's like, oh, that's just so adorable. That's beautiful. And he goes into Ed's study, sees like a big picture of Edge and Beth Phoenix and the daughters. He turns on the fireplace. Said this is the homiest home he ever been in. Said he could stay here all night. I'm sorry. That's my best Seth Rollins laugh impressions. We will get Edge in the back, basically calling Beth Phoenix, telling her, I got a proper for you, Beth. No, listen to me. Don't go home. Don't go home. I don't care about the grocery. Don't go home. Take the kids with you to your brothers. Go to your brothers. I'm gonna call Seth Rollins is at the house. Go to your brothers. I'm gonna call David and this other guy. I forgot the other guy's name. And I'm gonna take care of it. And then it turns out that David and the other guy are the Revival who left WWE to go to AEW. They turned their close in real life. And that would end the promo, this whole promo with Seth Rollins and Edge. We will never see that ever again, so we don't know what came of that. What I thought would be the second match would turn out to be just a match. What I thought would be the second match of the night, which is Carmella versus Liv Morgan. Never got nowhere because Liv Morgan attacked Carmella to make Carmella get angry and go grab a mask. Apparently, and the mask looked as stupid as hell. It looked like a bedazzled version of Mankind's mask mixed with two different scenes from the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey. The one when he first puts on the mask, he goes, just go look that up and you'll see why that looks so similar to Carmella's mask. And the one where he got set up by the evil monsters when they put that fake little green mask in his pocket for the police to find. It also looked like that, but this match would not get started because once Carmella got back to the ring, she attacked Liv Morgan before the match could start and pretty much end the segment. We got the third round of the draft, which is Bear Corbin staying on SmackDown, Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH staying on Raw. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Our first NXT call up from via the draft. Hit Row moves to SmackDown, and Keith Lee stays on Raw. I'm actually surprisingly okay with those. We get the second, what I call the real second match. You get the New Day versus the Street Profits. New Day and the Street Profits versus Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and the Alpha Academy in the 8-man tag match. This match was very good and I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. I can't say it was bad. I mean, it was a good match. It was a very good match. Yeah, it was just very good, you know. Can't say it was bad. I won't. I think the only thing was that the ending, how the New Day won with that move. It looked like maybe Xavier misjudged it. Maybe he just did it because he didn't want to fully actually put his body weight on I think it was Robert Roode. But yeah, otherwise it was a good match, and yeah, the winners are the New Day and the Street Profits. I always enjoy this match because I enjoy anytime Montez Forrest and Chad Gable gets in the ring because they pull out some amazing moves together. We'll get the last round, which is the round 4 of the draft. Naomi, much to the chagrin of Sonya Deville, stays on SmackDown. Rey and Dominic Mysterio moves to Raw. Jeff Hardy moves to SmackDown. Austin Theory from NXT moves to Raw. I think in between all this stuff too, we got a promo from Drew McIntyre, who was all just like Charlotte Flair. I don't know if I even mentioned that. Charlotte Flair. It was a promo after the first draft. There was a backstage promo with Charlotte Flair being interviewed, and then it was another one with Drew McIntyre later on in the night, and then around this time we would get the one with Jeff Hardy being interviewed, but his interview was cut short because Brock Lesnar would basically run him off and Kayla Braxton off to basically say, my good friend Paul, thanks to my good friend Paul, I am a free agent. I can do whatever and whatever I want. And he drops the mic, which brings them to the backstage segment with Roman Reigns basically scolding Paul Heyman, who looks like he's been crying, basically saying that so he could just do, you're a good friend. Are we good friends? And he said, why was, he basically want to know why was the Usos not drafted to SmackDown? And that he basically yells, he said, says, I'm the wise man, but he yells, you're only the wise. He said, you're only the wise man when I say you're the wise man. Like, Paul, I need you to go to Raw and basically, he said, I need you to go to Raw and make sure that the Usos get drafted to SmackDown. He said, yes, my tribal chief. Thank you, my tribal chief. And then he looks at Paul, and Paul's like, and then he goes and leaves. Then he tells the Usos, go with him and make sure you get drafted to SmackDown. And if you don't get drafted to SmackDown, leave him for dead over there in Raw. And the Usos basically shake their head and they get up and follow Paul Heyman. We'll get the main event of Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. This match was decent in itself. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was good. You know, I enjoyed it. It was for what it I didn't like the ending, but it fit the story, so I give it a pass because the ending fit the story. So when the ending fits the story, even though I don't like those type of endings, if it fit the story, I give it a pass. But the ending in question, where even though it was already a good match, Sasha Banks, I think the other part, Bianca botched a deadlift press that she's been doing perfectly on Sasha Banks, but she basically tried to heave her up, but it looked like she misjudged her hands placement because by the time she got her up like this, Sasha was slipping on her hand, so she had to quickly just throw down Sasha. But other than that, the match was good. I enjoyed it, even with the little Becky Lynch interference. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I think it was revealed before this match too. The Becky Lynch interference will also lead to Sasha Banks getting the roll up victory over Bianca Belair, making Sasha Banks your winner. It was, I think, before the match, it was announced that at Crown Jewel it will be a triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship of Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. And I guess it's rumored that Bianca is supposed to win that match and take the title to Raw. But I guess we'll see. Oh, the show ends with Charlotte Flair who tried to like duck, like it when they show the cameras like on Sasha Banks, who's like yeah I got the victory, is blah blah blah. It's like you can't. Sorry, you got this big ass you're a tall ass woman for one. You got this big ass bedazzled suit on and you're trying to duck underneath the camera, like the camera didn't just see your big ass just get in the ring and then duck to the side and then just go, oh, we're gonna go, oh my god, where did she come from? Just a few seconds ago, dunking underneath the camera. But yeah, she would big boot Sasha Banks, and then she would big boot Bianca Belair as well, and hold her title up and triumphantly to end the show with then Becky Lynch getting on top of the announcer table to hold up her title as well. Yeah, this show was actually a good show. If I give this episode anything, I give it 8 big ups because this was a decent episode. No, aside from a few botches here and there, the weird what the hell was they doing with Carmella situation. I think only other thing was I wish they would have had time for at least 1 or 2 more matches. But otherwise, this show was good. I enjoyed it. And I recommend, if you haven't seen it, go see it. You can still watch it if you know where to look. But yeah, this episode was good. And if you enjoyed this review, hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much that you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the family. Because not too long from now, I will be doing a live stream of the first part of Ghost of Tsushima. I'm sorry. I seen gameplay, so I know they go. Yeah, so you want to subscribe to the channel. You want to see that because I'm gonna keep y'all entertained through that live stream because you're gonna want to see my reaction once we get to the fight and stuff. But also hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. The Chief is out of here, but I won't be. Just come by the live stream. You'll see me then. Be there. Come on, promise me you'll be there. Be there. Do it. Peace.